Welcome to the American Hard Enduro podcast presented by Loco Bike Shop. It's that time of the year. It's actually mid-August. Normally TKO is pretty much wrapping up, but we still got a week and a half. Today I'm joined by TKO, co-inventor, co-creator, Sean Finley. What's up, Sean?
Oh, having a good time. Getting ready to fly out to Tennessee here in a couple days. Eric Pernard and I created this along with Dan that owns the Trials Training Center 16 years ago, which is crazy to me that it could be that long already.
No, that's what we were just talking about before we hit record. It's the 16th year. So, man, and we've got maybe one person who's done all 16, maybe two.
Yeah, two people that have actually entered.
Yep.
Reggie, who I think is like 70 something.
Reggie Wrinkle, yep.
Has entered every year. Now, a couple of those years, he literally just rolled through the start just to take a start.
Yep.
And he had an injured shoulder and stuff like that. But I saw he's actually on the list again this year.
Okay, I didn't know. He lives right down the road from me, actually. I haven't seen him lately, so hopefully he's doing well.
Yep. And then the one, gosh, my mind's went blank on his name, but
Devin Ferguson. That's the other one. Yep.
Yeah, which is awesome. I think I might have told you once, Devin, and I think is the very first person that showed up the first year we were actually doing the event. He showed up and introduced himself, and see him there every year since, which is really cool to see them make a race at 16 years. Kind of interesting. Another interesting fact is Cody Webb has, I think, only missed 1 year when he had an injured knee. He's actually raced every year otherwise, which is a pretty cool stat.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely. I didn't realize that. I think you mentioned that a while back, but no, I had no idea.
Yeah.
So, all right. So you and I talked, Max and Eric actually did a podcast, but didn't get really into the nuts and the bolts and the changes you guys made to some of the scheduling because Max doesn't race it. I'm still racing it. And you and I have this talk every year of what's changed? What's the schedule? I've had a couple of Emoto guys reach out to me, ask me some questions. So the biggest change, in my opinion, is now one thing that helped some of us out a lot was we got to skip TKO 1 on Saturday and go straight to TKO 2 based on some qualifications. This year, you said throwing it out the window. We're all racing every race. So let's hear why you did that to me, Sean.
The big reason we did it is it's really with about 500 entries, it's really challenging. Back in the early years, everybody did race those all the rounds. In fact, the very first few years, pros raced all the rounds. What happened is over time, when we added more and more riders each year, we kind of looked at ways to not put everybody on course at the same time. It's just a lot of people to be on course, process for staging and get out there. So over time, we, initially moved the pros to a Sunday only thing. Then we took the amateurs and made it to where back in the day before there was the U.S. Hard Enduro Championship, we basically took it where if you were top 10 at some of these other hard enduro events that were popping up around the country, if you were top 10 in some of those big ones or, things like that, and you were not racing the pro class, you could go to race 2, Saturday race 2. What we found, though, over the last few years is the riders have gotten better and better. Even a lot of the, all the way down into the vet classes, B classes even, guys can take on pretty hard terrain, and get through it. And basically, despite trying to make the course harder, we were getting to where the winners are winning the race, even race 2, in an hour and 15 minutes. And then some people were being eliminated from race 2, meaning that was the only race they did. They maybe made it right in, and then they were not in the top 30 where they got to move on to Sunday. And they were eliminated, even though it only took them an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes or something. We're like, gosh, that's just not enough riding time. We looked at adding a second lap to that race, but then that adds some complications where Eric and I are kind of not fans of multi-lap on some of these courses because it just turns into big bottlenecks. Lap 2, you guys, some of those top front guys will be getting to the back markers of the that are still finishing their lap 1. And it turns into a logistical thing there. So we decided then to kind of go back to the old original format, which is everybody will ride Saturday race 1. One of the things we didn't have back in the day, though, was the Friday hot lap, which gets you. It used to be based on when you entered. So if you entered first, you got row 1.
Yeah, that helped me out 1 year for sure.
Yeah, so that we got rid of that by doing the hot lap. we over time, based on feedback from all the riders and everything, we tried to make the hot lap indicative of what the course is really going to be, and long enough to really put the guys that are good at hard enduro up there. So we added the hot lap. I can't even remember. It's been 7, 8, 9 years at least now. We've done the hot lap for the amateurs, and to get their starting position for the races on Saturday. Now it'll one of the other things we changed for this year is we had people complain about, with 400 plus guys, amateur riders competing on that Friday hot lap, that some C riders would be out there on course blocking the lines. So again, from feedback from the riders this year, it'll actually be all the A riders will be during that first group. Then it'll be B riders, then C riders. There's a few that don't quite fit specifically into there. So some of the women pro and some of the E-moto and stuff like that, we kind of put them in where we felt like they make sense. But yeah, that way we feel like, the A riders will get the best shot at a clean track to earn those front row starting positions. Now, race 1 last year, as it turned out, got pretty good rain on Friday. It actually ended up being a pretty difficult course. And then it dried out by the afternoon, and it was actually an easier course, arguably, even though we added hard sections. So, we never know what's going to happen with the rain, of course. But we are, like I said, we're trying to take feedback from the riders, and we want to give somebody, if they 250 of the riders will make it from race 1 to race 2. So if you're even one of the fastest guys and you do it in an hour, call it, and then you're one of the fast guys again, you're going to do it in, you're going to have at least 2 to 2.5 hours of riding time. If you're one of the ones who gets eliminated from race 1, you've taken probably over 2.5 hours and you're probably done. If you go to race 2 and get eliminated, you're not one of those top 30, at least you've raced by that point. You've probably, if you're one of the guys that gets eliminated, you've probably raced 3 hours and you're probably done too. So,
all right, hold on. I still want to go back to Friday. So Will Preston just jumped on.
What's up, Sean?
Yeah, how's it going?
He was out working, and he said he's dug up quite a bit of data on the past TKOs. So once we get through some of this scheduling stuff, we're going to dig into some of this stuff. So before you got on, Will, Sean said something interesting. Reggie Wrinkle has done all of them. Okay. Not necessarily raced, but started. Devin Ferguson. Reggie. And we all know Devin. He said Cody Webb has been to everyone.
Everyone except one he didn't race. He injured his knee at Erzberg.
Well, sorry, that doesn't count.
5-6 years ago. So yeah, he doesn't count. He's out. The stat that he's done nearly every one of them.
That's wild that he was there.
He's done nearly every one of them. You wouldn't think he's that old.
Well, Drew and I wouldn't be doing this if it weren't for Devin. So Devin Ferguson has gotten at least 2 guys into this sport.
No, it's 100%. And it's crazy because Reggie lives in Knoxville and so does Devin. We're both probably 10, 20 minutes from each other.
Yep.
So a couple things on Friday. Like you said, we've got the hot laps. But before we've got the hot laps, something new you guys are doing is the Pee Wee and the Junior Kids race, which is pretty cool. Those are like 10:30 and 11:30, I think, on Friday. So is that just to align more with what the U.S. Hard Enduro guys are doing?
Exactly. Matt and the U.S. Hard Enduro crew asked all of the promoters this year, or at the beginning of the year, there's been a lot of feedback. We've heard it over the years too. A lot of the riders there that are racing have kids that want to race. It's gone well at some of the events. I just saw some cool video actually from Quinn's race at the Hollow Point event last week. Looked super cool watching the kids do that. So yeah, we've added those. There's 2 groups. There's actually 5 different classes between the different small wheel bikes and all that. We've added that this year, first time. We did it on Friday morning, partly because we know a lot of these kids will have parents that they're racing probably and don't want to distract from what they're doing, and we just really didn't have enough spot in the schedule. I was
going to say, I don't know where you would put it, especially
we looked at all the options. I mean, without racing overlapping with another race on course, there's
no way.
There was just no place we could do it. And actually talking to Matt and those guys that have done the other events, some of the others have had similar issues. And I said, the only time we can really do is Friday morning before they start. It's like, well, that's a good time to do it then. Let's do it then. So,
I mean, I was even looking at the pro hot lap is Saturday from 5 to 6. And I remember last year I went into the woods and it was like, oh boy, almost need a headlight. Cause again, all of us amateurs that made it started behind all the pros.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, that's cool. So all you guys, and granted, school started back down here in the South. I don't know about out there up north. So, but the pro, I guess not the pro, the amateur hot laps on Friday. The A riders are at 1, Bs are at 2, 3:30 is C classes. And then I like this little line you put in here. I don't know who this was for. Any rider who's ready to go in their space in any of the groups you're not assigned to, you can go in another group. So thanks for throwing that little caveat in there.
Yeah, and we've always kind of wanted it. There's also the very last hour is basically anybody that hasn't got a time in at that point. We know some people are traveling there that day.
That's what I was about to say.
Exactly. That's why we kind of blocked out that last hour. That's anybody that just hasn't gotten a time in or haven't got out there to get one run in yet. And the whole goal of it is to give everybody the opportunity to earn a decent spot. If you're one of the good riders, and then unfortunately mechanicals can happen if you start, just like any other race. If you start and have a mechanical or a crash or whatever, then that's part of racing. But otherwise, we want to try. And that's where, like I said, the feedback from riders last year and the year before, we started hearing, oh, well, there's slower guys on course the same time as I am. Because we used to just do it whenever you signed in, basically.
I think it's awesome to do it by, at least try to do it by what class racing, the A's, B's, and C's. So I think that'll help you. It should help a lot.
And it probably won't be perfect. We're going to attempt to, get all the A riders there and all that. The main thing is we wanted, we actually looked at how many entries there were in each of those groups last year and kind of blocked out the amount of time necessary. And Eric actually had the point, he's like, well, the A riders are going to probably mostly get through it clean. Let them go first. It's obvious, right? When you say it. But at first we were thinking of like, do the A riders go at the end? And like, well, that's obvious. Yeah.
Well, so then moving on, here's a question I had. I think I didn't understand your answer the other day. So, all right. So then we're going to Saturday. Everyone's racing TKO race 1 Saturday morning. Looks like, I think 9 o'clock or 8:30. Yeah. 500 riders are what we can sign up. So I always thought you wanted to have us bypass race 1, like pre-qualified guys to TKO 2, so you could get more riders into race 1.
Kind of. It was like I said earlier, it's a lot we're going to end up with over 400 riders on race 1.
Okay.
So because if you take out, we ended up last year, 534 people actually entered. Of that, about 30, 35 are pros. So those guys are, not included really in that morning, the Saturday morning races or Saturday either race. But they really about 450-ish, amateurs will do a hot lap and be ready to race on Saturday morning. Every one of them, unfortunately, going to be on course. Where that became challenging, even before we had this many riders, it is a lot of people to put on course.
Yep.
The last ones on course are going to be the ones who qualified the slowest. So they're going to probably take a long time.
And they're starting the latest.
They're starting the latest, exactly. Yeah. There's a 2.5 hour time limit from your start time. So you can do the math. It's going to take us over an hour with rows of 6. It's going to take us over an hour to put everybody on course. The fastest guys will probably be coming in an hour. So there'll be riders finishing before some of those riders have even taken off. And like I said, they'll be the slowest ones. We kind of stretch out the schedule a little bit to give more time for that race 1 to make that work in there. The ones who start late are likely the ones that are going to be the ones eliminated too. They're going to be the ones ready to get pulled off. Some of them will be mad when they get pulled off, but they're ready to be pulled off, at that point.
Okay.
You should do an award for the person that makes the most passes. So they have to start further back, but potential to pass a couple hundred people.
Yeah, actually, so I've seen them do that at some cycling events where, in fact, I just saw like the Leadville 100. It was like there was some charity thing where the guy passed, hundreds of riders.
Well, they're kind of doing that with Blake that does hard enduro burros. It's like all the back row burros and all those.
Yeah, actually, Blake's entered. He's doing it.
Okay. Well, him and Matt Adams have been doing it, and I'm like, Blake's a good rider. I mean, he's a solid A rider. So I'm like, I don't know how much some of those guys, but
Yeah,
makes for great GoPro footage.
Makes for great GoPro footage.
He wanted to know like what did he need to do to make sure he qualified to the next round. Yeah, and I told him what it works, and he's like, I'd really like to try to make Sunday. I'm like, well, you better just not mess around.
you won't do it on the back row.
Yeah. So, especially the second race. Now, the first race, he might be able to get to the second race, but then I think that'd be the challenge. So,
that's a good point.
And you'd be starting farther back, though. Like if you did it, his time's going to not probably be as good as it could have been if he started farther forward.
100%. All right. So here's the biggest question I have. Race 1, fastest 250 finishers, excluding E-Moto sportsmen, within the 2.5 hours, go to TKO race 2. Okay. So where do the E-Moto guys go? Is that like it?
Yeah, so the E-Moto sportsman, and this is something we debated back and forth and talked to Tucker from Electric Cycle Rider, who's kind of helped push this whole electric bike, race for the last several years. The pro riders that are racing on Sunday, so the pro E-Moto guys go straight to Sunday, just like any of the other. There's 2-stroke, 4-stroke in regular pro E-Moto, which is what they've been doing at the other U.S. hard enduro events as well, for the most part. Those guys mostly have the means to charge their bikes quick enough for the multiple rounds. A lot of these electric bike guys in the amateur class, they're not going to have a $1,500 or $2,000 spare battery to be able to race 2. Some would, some wouldn't. We basically just decided that we would Saturday race 1. Now they will be integrated as far as where they start. At one point, we're going to put them behind. Then we decided to, based on feedback again from the riders, that wherever they earn their starting for race 1, they start there. But that will be for the sportsman E-Moto guys. That's their race basically for their class. Now the top 10 of those guys will get to race on Sunday morning behind the pros, just as a let's see if I can do it kind of thing. Sort of as if they had gone through both rounds and made it to the top 30, but they're not eligible to move forward because they didn't do the proper structure. It's basically just the top 10 of them. If they want to do it, they can try to do it. And
Well,
will those guys do the pro hot lap to set their field, or does it really matter?
It's based on their finish from the morning race. Yeah.
Okay. So that was exactly where I was going with all this. I'm like, okay, first of all, are they starting behind us in the end of it, because it says everyone has to do the hot lap, the pro hot lap to advance.
Exactly. So not E-Moto, and exactly. And it's just a for fun thing. And you know what, the bikes will progress and more guys will have the, means to charge them. I'm sure in a couple of years, they'll last longer, all those kind of things. I know you guys ride with Max a bit and he's having to do multiple battery swaps on a lap and all that, but he's got some support where that can happen. Most of the amateur E-Moto guys, they're just not going to be able to pull that off. So that was the feedback we heard from the guys who do it. Okay.
That was my biggest question as to why that. Yeah. But because you're integrating them after the Friday hot lap into the race. So then why could they not have the
and you know what? I'm sure some people will be kind of bummed that they don't get the opportunity, but it's just kind of in looking at the big picture, there'll be about 30 of them. Like I said, probably some of them would have it and they'll be kind of bummed to do that. If they're really that good, they can enter the pro class too, though. And they can go straight to Saturday afternoon hot lap and try to race with the pros.
Okay. All right. So that was the big one I had was that. Yeah. So TKO2, 250 guys. This again, still talking Saturday. 250 guys go into several TKO2. Harder sections into TKO2. Several harder sections in that race. 2.5 hours. Top 30 goes to Sunday. You talked about making that number bigger. Glad you didn't.
Yep, still 30. And as it turns out, and we decided to keep it there. As it turns out, there's typically about 30, 35 pros, which looks like where we'll be again this year. So then you end up with the 30 riders that qualify from Saturday, ends up with about 60, 65 riders that'll start that Saturday afternoon hot lap.
Okay. All right. So then the big change that I didn't know for this year is in past years, if you won your class on Saturday, you got an AMA number 1 plate. Yep. So this year, because you guys aren't the Grand National Champion or Grand National Champion,
Grand Championship.
I was like that basically it rolls into just another U.S. Hard Enduro round.
Correct. It's the final round of the Premier Championship or National Championship, and then it's one of their East rounds. It's one of the because there's a few more East rounds that are after TKO, and that's one of the big things that we basically the TKO was the AMA Grand Championship for Extreme Enduro before it was really called a Hard Enduro. Gosh, going back 8, 9, 10 years probably at least, maybe even longer. I'm not sure. Because back when we started it, there really wasn't much else out there in the U.S. Then, over time, there was more races. AMA, kept it as, as a grand championship. And then as U.S. Hard Enduro series got bigger, they really, it was always considered a regional championship in the AMA's, rules. It was never a national championship. The TKO was still the national championship, but it's kind of, to us, it felt a little silly to have a one race championship when that series it's a viable, legit championship series. It just got confusing. We were handing out a number one plate, and then there was the series championship number one plates and all that. So basically, last year we worked with the AMA and US Hard Enduro Series to basically, we basically gave up the grand championship status. And as part of that, just agreed to be, we were already part of the championship the last 3 or 4 years or whatever it was. So yeah, we just decided to forego that for the better, of the sport. We feel like it's better that there's a true national championship series, which is what that series is now. And like I said, it's viable. There's a lot of racers following the whole series and all the classes and all that. So it's we think the better way to go. So the one thing that's, slightly different, you don't get a number one plate just for that one race. It's I know you won one of those, didn't you?
I've got one. Yeah. Well, yeah. I was only reason I brought it up is I was surprised, number one, and number two, I didn't want a bunch of people showing up again and be like, okay, I won today. Because used to be like, I think you and I talked about this. Saturday was its own amateur race, and then it was just whoever went to Sunday was riding on borrowed time. Pretty much.
Exactly. It was sort of bonus time. So kind of what we're doing the electric bike amateurs this year. It was sort of bonus time. And that was another thing that got a little confusing with the US Hard Enduro Series races is, now like any class that has riders that move into make the top 30 and move on to Sunday, that class won't be final until Sunday. So unlike and that was part of because we were separating.
I like that.
We were separating the amateurs and the pros before. Saturday was amateur day. If you made it on, it was like sort of bonus time. Now though, like you guys both in your classes, that'll be the real, like I said, it'll continue on. Maybe 3 or 4 of you guys make it, but you're determining, in your given class. But so
it's not just who wins Saturday evening.
Correct.
Amongst us. It's who makes it the furthest basically.
Correct. Yeah. Correct.
Okay.
And one thing we have struggled with a little bit in the past, but we are working to do this year is have at least one midpoint checkpoint to where if somebody doesn't finish at all on Sunday, but they get to that checkpoint, that the results will be based on that. Actually, we're working hard on making that happen.
I think that'd be good for the TKO too, because I know like Max and a bunch of the A guys ended up getting to Chuck U, and then that was it.
Yeah,
so that might be a good one, so that you could have a definite winner based on that.
Yeah, and we're working to make that happen this year and have that at least one midpoint checkpoint. And we use a different scoring team than what they use for the rest of the series, and that's why it's a little bit challenging. But I think we can pull it off to have at least one, if not 2, checkpoints on course for the lap to determine results for the people that don't complete it, because that Sunday morning gets pretty legit. That course gets a lot harder.
Quick.
Yeah.
So, well, you guys, I guess, is there anything more to talk about course-wise? I mean, we got the Saturday kind of covered. Sunday, I think it's pretty much the same as
it's pretty much the same. The one slight difference is the pro main event. We added 10 minutes to it.
Okay. Yep. You're right.
And that's the idea there. And what we're going to do actually on the TKO race 2, when we're down to the 30 guys, which is the groups where they race in kind of a heat race type format. We've had, and again, feedback from the riders. That's one of the hardest courses. But then at the end, we've often had a lot of just trail connecting and stuff. We're going to try to tighten that course up to where there'll be a lot less transfer on trails and a lot of just really cool hard stuff. But probably cut a little time out of it. So they're not spending an hour and a half finishing that, then coming back and a lot of them, especially for the last group, you've got a pretty tight turnaround to race the main event.
I mean, what's the last group? 25 minutes starting after group 1. So then that's huge.
Yeah. And so we want to try to tighten that race up a little bit to give everybody a little more time to get reset. But like I said, throw some really cool hard stuff on it like we always have, but have less transfer sections. And that's some of the stuff that we'll have to get the details of it when we're actually there on site, this coming week. But that's one of the plans, is try to shorten that race up a little bit, add 10 more minutes to the main event. Basically the way we do it, it's almost like motocross, where we've done 35 minutes plus a lap. Now, basically, and they typically are about an 8 to 10 minute lap for the pros. So it's going to basically get them one more lap probably than what they've done. Just the main event's so cool. Like, we just wanted to try to find a way to add a little more there.
Yeah, it seems like it goes so fast. Like, I'm sure the riders, their tongues are hanging out and the guys are dying. But for us spectating, it's like we're started, all the white flags out. So what are we still doing where we've been the last few years, Red Bull Ravine area?
Yeah, Red Bull Ravine area. The course changes, of course, every year. We use some of the same hills and add something. Usually we're looking at, so we don't really know until Wednesday or so when we're finishing.
Yeah, but it's not like a wholesale change like from when we went behind the green cabins in the green shop to down there. It's still going to be down there.
Yeah, it's all going to be on that same side. And we used to go behind the green cabins, the cabins, and then 2 years ago, we actually used sort of both sides.
Oh, yeah.
And this year, we're actually attempting to not cross that little gravel road in the start-finish area. We're trying to actually go in and out on the Fred's Field area, the entire, both the short course and the long courses. We've got it mapped out and planning to do that to where it won't cross the road there, because that crossing the road with the fences and all is a little sketchy sometimes. It's a pain, like to get spectators. Yeah, for spectators to get up and down there, even though we have that little tunnel they can go under, it's a little bit of a pain. So we're working on that this year. But yeah, it'll be all over in that Red Bull Ravine area for the main event. Again, we'll add some new sections. I mean, last year we created a few new sections. We'll do the same this year. We'll add some stuff, and the course is probably going to kind of go opposite direction, clockwise rather than counterclockwise last year. The way it kind of went through that area, the way we've got it mapped out anyway right now. So yeah, it'll be a little bit different, but still that Red Bull Ravine will be the primary area with the hill claims and some of the gnarly stuff.
All right. Well, okay. I got two more questions. Number one, how many we got signed up so far? I know you said we were over 400 when we talked yesterday.
Yeah, it's funny to me, like since there is no like must enter thing, we were 4 something when I talked to you yesterday. I think it was like 402. When I looked at it this morning, it was already like 420 something. So
I told Will it was getting close. He goes, I might need to sign up. I go, yeah, you might need to.
Save me a spot.
So I called Ashburn this morning and was talking to him about something else. He goes, yeah, Sean reached out to me and gave me the link to sign up. He goes, I've never signed up in the past. I just show up. I'm like, well, you might have to do this.
It's funny. He told me that on text too. I'm like, I don't think he remembers, but yeah, he's definitely gone over there and manually signed up.
Yes, I think that, but I mean like pre-entered. So
our
buddy Jarrett
I kind of wanted to get everybody in possible. So
and our buddy Jarrett Moan.
That's a cool story though for him to show up again, even though since he's riding Hondas, he doesn't have a 2-stroke available. He doesn't have a KDX 200 he can race like he did that one year. So I think you have more insight than I had, but he's going to ride a 250 4-stroke, it sounds like.
Well, I was wanting him to get a hold of Carson and get that bike he was on last year, because he was like, that thing was legit. I mean, it sounded mean.
Yeah.
I mean, Jordan could have done some damage, I think, on that thing. But yeah, luckily a buddy loaned him a 2026 CRF 250 motocross bike, and Red Moto gave him a tank. So it is a 250. He wanted to put a 300 kit on it. So we'll see. I think it's going to be cool.
Yep. No, cool to have him here. We've, speaking of that, a lot of riders, you guys have seen some of the announcements going out. Manny Lettenbichler back, and Billy Bolt, and of course, Cody Webb and Tristan, and all of our top U.S. hard enduro guys. Kind of a cool head-to-head battle.
Any Johnny Walker? Truth to Johnny Walker coming. I haven't seen that announcement.
That wasn't announced yet, but he did confirm that he's coming.
On the
you'll probably see that one tomorrow. But
sorry,
he did confirm that he's coming now. There was a little back and forth on whether he was or not able to and all that, but apparently they've Triumph X the US is helping get them there. They're going to actually come and have a dealer there to help showcase their off-road line. And they also do the old offset bikes that are now badged as Triumph.
Really?
The little kids like trials bikes.
I didn't know they'd been bought.
Yeah, they're gonna do demos with those over in the electric moto demo section. So that's cool. Eddie Carlson coming on the electric bikes, and the electric bikes, just like the other US hard enduro events, they do their hot lap time, but all the riders, just like the amateurs, they're going to be fully integrated. I know last year, I mean, Eddie Carlson was legit. I mean, he won his group and was on the front row for the main. Then he crashed immediately on the first big uphill over there in the Red Bull Ravine and ruined his race a little bit. He still worked his way back to 7th. So yeah, he's going to be here. Max, I think, on the new Bonell should be super interesting.
One interesting. Go ahead.
I was going to say there's rumor of Graham Jarvis showing up.
What?
And with his bike. So
Jarvie.
I've heard yes, I've heard no, but that's the most recent yes I've heard. I heard a no yesterday.
I've heard all kinds of different stories, and I can tell you this: in all the years he's raced TKO probably 5 times in the past. We usually have no clue he's showing up until he shows up.
He even showed up one year and didn't race.
Yeah, he did. I think that year actually he was riding for Husqvarna and they wouldn't let him race for some reason. I think he wanted to race that one, but yeah, he would let her race. And I know actually TKO the high intensity format isn't his favorite. He'd much rather go do the 4-hour grind. But I mean, he's good enough that he's been on the podium before. I mean, it's been a few years, but he was one of the first Euro guys to come over and really challenge Cody when Cody Webb was on his 6-race consecutive streak. He came over. Johnny Walker was one of the ones that came over early as well. Manny came over, when Manny was like, I think he was 20 years old when the first time he came, and Cody beat him. And then Manny was the first of the Euro guys actually to win one though. After I think he might have won the year that Cody actually missed. Was the first time he won it. But yeah, so kind of cool though to have some of those guys coming over as well.
Well, what I was going to say was, so Johnny will be on a 4-stroke, Jordan will be on a 4-stroke, and we got Riley Bender on a 4-stroke. So at least we're going to have a full pro 4-stroke podium for the first time this year. Yeah, that's exciting. You said one other 4-stroke signed?
There's one other guy entered. I can't remember his name, but yeah, there's at least one other actually entered in the pro 4-stroke class as well. Right. So,
well, what I was going to say was
get him a top 4.
Johnny Walker's, I guess, Triumph's not too big on him doing outdoor hard enduro stuff. And so, but through Liat, I heard he's got to do so many events and outdoor events. So I think that's kind of the struggle to do some, but not do some. And yeah. I'm glad Triumph US gave him some support.
And I know Johnny has shared too that, he's won Erzberg, he's won Romania, he's won all the big ones. But in his view, they've all gotten crazy hard. Even though he's still capable of doing it, I think he likes the TKO format. He likes doing super enduros and endurocross. He's the defending endurocross champion. In fact, he likes doing the high intensity thing. So, I think TKO format kind of fits him. It's hard, but not stupid hard. To where even the 4-stroke, I think it's less of a penalty there, and he can maybe have a pretty good result with it.
All right, so I got one more question before I give this over to Will, and we go with all these facts. All right, you mentioned that you were going to try to get the Kawasaki KX 327 to show up at TKO. It was unveiled at Loretta's last week or 2 weeks ago. You had any luck getting that thing down there?
Not yet, unfortunately. Eric and I both have a lot of contacts at Kawasaki. Eric even actually put a deposit on one to buy one from his local dealer in Florida. And he was joking on the email chain that we had going with a couple of our contacts there. He was saying, "Hey, he's like, I have a deposit on one. Can you just get me mine early or something?" But I don't think they're really going to be in the country production wise until the end of the year. It sounds like so far anyway. As of this week, I haven't gotten a yes that they'll have the bike there. Unfortunately, even though it was just at the Loretta Lens Motocross just 2 weeks ago.
Right up, yeah. Well, I was hoping. And speaking of someone putting a deposit, our favorite old man rider, who's probably the oldest man to ever be in the main event, called me and asked me. He's like, "What do you think about these Kawasaki's?" I was like, "Dude, I haven't even seen a picture of one." He goes, I bought one," and I'm like, "You have it?" And he's like, "No, I'll put a deposit on it." It was surprisingly like.
You're talking about Chuck DeLulo, right?
Oh yeah, of course, Chuck DeLulo.
Yeah, I got that same call. He's like, "What do you know about it?" I'm like, "I don't know anything about it other than what I've seen online."
I was like, "Well, literally a picture had not a real picture, not an AI picture. It hadn't even come out yet." And Chuck's like, "What do you think?" I was like, "Chuck, I don't know."
Yeah, no,
I want one.
I think it's a cool story. I
hope they're good.
I think I do hope we see some support with some pro riders maybe next year. I mean, I've not heard anything about that at all officially, but it'd be awesome to see. I think we'll see them racing for sure. But it'd be cool to see, see them back in a rider or two in the U.S. Hard Enduro Championship. I mean, that's what the bike's really made for. I mean, yeah, it's good for all kinds of off-road riding, but I mean, you can tell. I mean, now I can tell you from our stats, 90% of the entries are 302 strokes. The other 10% are what's left, which is some 4-strokes and some electric bikes. And there's actually, I think, more electric bikes than there are 4-strokes. So, yeah.
Wow. Well, I don't want to say I know. I've heard one pro rider had a call with Kawasaki. Now, whether it went anywhere, I have no idea, but it would be cool if they would step up and do some sort of support.
Yeah, be awesome. Yeah.
So,
hopefully we get a pleasant surprise and we get a call where they
maybe it's time for Stu Baylor to do another TKO.
Yeah,
just somebody drive to wherever that bike went from Loretta's and get it down here. If you're out there, anybody.
That's what I asked of our contacts. I'm like, hey, this thing's already in Tennessee somewhere. When I asked,
Yeah, so. It's within 5 hours, surely.
Yeah,
no doubt.
So yeah, unfortunately, I don't have a yes on that, but it'd be cool if we got a pleasant surprise.
All right. So, Will, you got what are these stats? If you're ready.
Well, this is more like, I guess, TKO trivia that I pulled off of AI more than anything. It started with me thinking about when was the last time an American won, which I'm sure Sean could tell us, and Drew, you probably know too. It's been a while.
Yeah, it was Cody won it last, but I don't know the
year.
Was he
the last one? It's probably Cody probably was the last one because otherwise it's been Tristan, Canadian. We'll claim
Manny.
Tristan, Manny, Billy have won all three. Or between the three of those riders, they've run the last 5 or 6 of them.
7.
Wow. So it was 19. Cody won in 19. No, wait, that'd be
2018 was the last American on a podium, or excuse me, to win. But the last time the American was on a podium, you know that? There's also Cody Webb. No.
Ooh. I wonder if Billy was hurt one year, so it would have been
2020.
You got it.
Probably be it.
Yep, 2020. Cody got second.
Ooh, who was Tristan, the order? Right? Was that Tristan, Cody, and then who?
I don't have that information. 2020. Okay. Think back. Who was there?
It was COVID, so
it was COVID year, so it was a weird one. We didn't have any Euros. I remember that.
Yeah, okay. Good enough.
Would have been Ryder? No, I don't think Ryder's ever been on the podium there.
No, I think Ryder's best finish might be a 5th, which was last year.
No, he didn't have a good race last year.
2025. I've got Ryder in 5th. Maybe it's wrong.
Can't trust that AI stuff sometimes.
I know. I'm AI in the 2023 podium. All right, well, what else you got?
All right. So obviously KTM's won the most races, the most podiums. Do y'all know who is in second?
Husqvarna?
It's a tie, actually.
Sherco?
Sherco's never won.
Never won. Correct.
Yep. We got Husky, and then think way back. Cody got a couple wins on the beta. Yeah, that's right.
Oh. All right. So you're never – oh, sorry. Well, go ahead.
2014 was the last time beta won. So they won in 13 and 14. Then obviously Husky won in 2011 with Mike Brown, and then again in 2021 with Billy.
Yep.
So
an interesting fact on one of those Cody Webb wins was on a 4-stroke beta.
And I was about to ask that. Has a 4-stroke ever won?
So the first 2 years that Mike Brown won, which was the first 2 years of the event, Cody was second both those years. And Mike Brown won on 4-strokes those years. And then Cody won on the beta 4-stroke the first year he won on the beta.
All right. So obviously we got KTM, we've got Husky, we've got beta. We know Cody has raced the Yamaha. I think the best that Cody's done is 6th on the Yamaha. The best Rieju finish was also a 6th by Alfredo.
Ooh.
And then 10 wins for KTM. Gas does have, in 2024, they finished 3rd with Wade Young.
And then, wouldn't guess that.
Who has the best Kawasaki finish in the history of the
Jordan Nash. Got to be Jordan.
Taylor Robert.
Oh.
Neither one of them.
Taylor Robert got second once, didn't he?
Oh, did he?
Yes.
Ooh. Was he on the
Cali 250? He was on the podium for sure.
Well, then that changes everything. All my AI is terrible.
Well, okay, so wait, so you said Colt? What was it? What'd you say? Taylor Roberts.
Taylor Robert raced it on a Kawasaki, and I remember it well because he did X Games. It was when X Games Endurocross was happening. He did X Games in LA. Kawasaki wasn't really into like sending a truck and all that stuff. So I actually went to Kawasaki, picked up the bike, brought it to Eric, who happened to be in California with his RV. We stuck it. He had this RV that had a little storage thing in the back. We literally had to like clamp the forks down and put the bike in the back. And he brought it to TKO. Taylor came back there. I actually picked him up at the airport in Nashville, and he raced it like pretty much on his own out of a rental car and made the podium that year. Like,
what year was that?
Either second or third. I know he made the podium. So.
Okay. Well, what I've got is Colton in 2012, and we got a guy named Michael Williams in 2011. I
remember that guy. Yep.
And then a guy named Jordan Ashburn, 11th in 2020 is the best result that I've got for him on a Cowie.
Yep.
So.
Okay, before you keep going, I'd give someone $1 million if they could tell me. So 2020, Tristan was first, Cody was second on the Sherco. The person who got third was on a Beta in 2020.
It wasn't Gearston, obviously.
No, Gearston's never made the podium, I don't think.
I remember this name, but I don't remember the guy. Benjamin Herrera Reed.
Oh, I totally remember him. South American guy,
Yep.
He came out of nowhere and did really well. Did he have a Red Bull helmet?
Yeah, he was a Red Bull guy. He actually was like the top. I can't remember. He's South American. I can't remember exactly which country, but he was a top, and he actually ended up racing for Beta in Endurocross and a few other hard enduro events for a couple of years there.
Yeah, see, Drew didn't give you long enough, or he would have owed you $1 million.
No, he never figured it out.
That's pretty much all I got.
I wouldn't have thought of that one. I would have had to have pulled it up. I do have.
That would have been in Google.
But the funny thing is, I have, because I've done it every single year, I have like the press releases that I've typed up on Sunday night after every single event that has the results and all that. And I've thought about kind of legitimately doing a cool story, just like all the podiums, all the main event finishers.
It's getting to that point where you get enough moto heads, we'd be interested in reading
16 years in. Yeah, it's pretty cool to have some of that stuff.
Like, I wonder who's the top finishing Hawaiian? Grayson comes to mind. I don't know how well he did, but I mean, Cavello got 9th last year.
Okay.
So
that may be it.
Early on, in fact, what I think helped put it on the map was the two Satterfield brothers made the mains. Both of them made the mains like a couple times.
Numerous times.
And they were early on, but maybe year 2, I believe it was, there was this big, tall, muscular Hawaiian guy that rode with an open face helmet. I'm pretty sure he rode a Beta, and he was I'm pretty sure he's one of the Kauai guys, and he did well. And it was back when we just had amateur and pro and all that, and I don't remember how far he went, but he did pretty well. And it's funny, the Satterfield brothers told me, they're like, we beat that guy at home, so when we saw he did that good, we had to show up.
Well,
yeah, good reasoning.
Yeah.
Right, so Taylor Robert was on the podium in 2013. Cody won on a Beta, Taylor on a Kawasaki, Corey Graffunder on a Husky.
Oh.
And that was, I think,
the old Huskies.
First year. Yeah, I think that was a red top. I think that was the 4-stroke.
Yep, it would have been the red.
Yeah.
Yep. There's actually one of the cool old recap videos where one of his Huskies, it probably wasn't that year because he wouldn't have made the podium, but where the thing literally caught on fire.
I remember that.
Like the thing was so freaking hot that it just like blew up and flames started coming out of it.
Man. Oh, that was cool. Go ahead, Will.
I was going to say, the Brightmoors aren't coming. Is that right?
No, unfortunately not. I did reach out to them, and the FIM championship, there's one in Sweden this weekend. There's one next weekend. Is it Italy, I believe, next weekend?
I think it's Abstone,
which is Italy. Yeah.
Okay.
So, in fact, we moved our date a week back. A little frustrating because we had announced our date, locked it in like last October, November. Then a month after, then they announced that Sweden event. And I know that KTM, because of Manny and Billy and all that, actually told those guys, like, this is like, we're already doing this event and everything. And they were unwilling to move for some reason. So we ended up deciding to just move to make it possible for some of the Euro guys to come compete.
Yeah, I would think this is the latest we've ever done TKO in August for sure.
We actually did the Labor Day weekend one time. It was probably
Really?
the second or third year. And we kind of learned that the holiday weekend wasn't ideal for a lot of people. You'd think that the extra day for travel is good, but it's not really. Everybody's got
everybody's wife has a plan.
Yeah. So we wouldn't have moved it if it had been that weekend. We probably would have just stayed where we were. But yeah, it worked out just because actually the way Labor Day this year falls, it's actually sort of a week later. It's usually it's the first Monday, I think it is, but just the way it falls this year, it's almost like a week later, basically. So,
we got lucky.
Yeah.
Well, thinking about all that, how long will it be until we get an Emoto top 5 or possibly on the podium?
Honestly, I won't be surprised to see an Emoto top 5 this year.
Yeah, that's kind of my thought too.
I think Eddie Carlson is definitely capable. If Jarvis were to show up, he's capable. Danny Lewis is actually riding a 0.
What?
Yeah,
okay.
That's actually a surpriser that I saw on the list.
Wow.
So Danny Lewis could be solid on that.
Top 3 for Max is getting harder.
Yeah, he could beat Danny right now. So honestly, I think if it's wet and there's some hill climbs, that could be the difference. And those bikes, like in the Red Bull Ravine, that climb out,
They're
might
so
be
torquey.
Because remember how they shortened up one of the climbs last year? You didn't have any run in. It was like right there. You're starting at the hill.
Yeah,
that could be again.
The one that actually caught Eddie out last year was that very first one. I don't know when you're talking about
that
very first one, the one that caught him, where he lost it. He just hucked the bike up the hill, but then he slid back down.
He couldn't get to it. I was talking about the second one.
Yeah, the second one is definitely
years past. We went out into the creek and could get a run at it, and then last year y'all tightened it up so you're right against it.
Yeah, so I mean, I won't be surprised if we have. I think that we'll have. I mean, like I said, he was 7th last year. Eddie was. He's a solid rider. I mean, he had 3 podiums this year in Super Enduro, so he's definitely
he's legit.
And I think that format also, like TKO format, a more sprinty 45-minute final, he's got a better chance than he probably does on a 4-hour grinder, maybe.
Did you guys do something to get them over here? Because when I talked to them at Silver Kings, they weren't planning on coming.
We didn't specifically at all. I just
I didn't know if y'all, Eric.
No, Lucas, the team manager, who was like Taddy's mechanic back in the day and all that. He runs the team. The team. I know Sebastian Tortelli is involved with it as well. But Lucas, I actually did a tour of Stark in Spain when I was over there, just on another thing for fun with my wife. Actually, earlier this year in May. And at that point, when I went there, though, they were already planning to come.
Okay.
So yeah, they were, I think, early on. So yeah, we didn't, other than having the event. And same thing last year, they actually didn't even really tell us. They just entered, and then all of a sudden, about a week before, we saw them entered, and about a week before, they reached out with a few questions about a few things, but otherwise, it was like they just showed up.
Have you guys got any? Because I know there's some frustration over at the World Rounds because mechanics can't help. Like gas riders can't do anything, can't touch the bike, but like it's service. But an e-bike, they can touch it, change the battery, do all that. And then another thing that was interesting at Silver Kings, it's like a 30-minute ride up the mountain to get to the top of the mountain where the start was. All the gas bikes had to ride the race tire all the way up there. Well, they put the Starks in the back of the truck and drove them up there to save battery. So everyone was a little
I heard about that a little bit. And that's where TKO format, none of that really comes into play. Yeah. I mean, they can swap batteries in between. It's kind of crazy to me. Swapping a battery on a Stark is quite a process, but they've got them down to a minute somehow, I don't know. But yeah, it's multiple people doing it. I think at Erzberg, the mechanics dump gas on the bikes. I don't know. I have heard a little bit of grumblings about some of that. And I know there was some grumblings at Romaniacs last year about some of that stuff. Like they didn't actually even compete at Romaniacs this year, probably because they just can't really make that whole format work for them yet.
I can see it. Well, do they do a battery swap on like TKO 1 and TKO 2 on Sunday? Or did they run the whole thing?
They run the whole thing.
Okay.
Those bikes will,
one.
yeah, they'll complete an hour. And I mean, even the pro level guy like that, they can run over an hour on one of those things on a Stark. Now, like the Surons and some of the others, they won't run that long at high intensity. But yeah, that's why some of the guys do. I mean, we have a battery swap area. It's a fuel stop if somebody want to put fuel in too. It's the same thing. But I mean, a Stark, I mean, without one of those teams, there's no way you're changing it fast enough to make it, really work.
Viable.
Yeah. Yeah, the other one, actually, Toby Martin's the other one who finished Erzberg, teammates with Eddie also on that bike.
You said he's coming too, right?
He's coming as well. He's entered. There's 2 of the Dust Motos entered as well.
If Ronnie Vina's one of the Dust guys? He's been out there developing it, helping it. He was a good racer
He's one of the ones who's actually reached out to us. Apparently because he works for the company. He just told me actually a little while ago he can't actually, they won't let him race. So for some reason.
Okay.
Because he's an employee, I guess. But he said he's trying to see if he can pull it off. But yeah, I just spoke to him literally 5 minutes before this call where he was like, yeah, I just found out that I might not go to the race. But we're sending 2 bikes and they have 2 guys in a race. So if for some reason he can't. But yeah, one of them, Joseph Van Rokel, who's pretty decent, like pro class rider. So yeah.
Name sounds familiar.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think, like I said, even if Jarvis doesn't show, there's a good 3 or 4 guys that I think will make the main. I think that are definitely. I mean, Danny Lewis on a 300 will make the main. The spikes, honestly, probably in some ways they're probably easier to ride. In some ways, they're not as fast. The bike he's riding, the Zero, is a really capable bike. It's lightweight though, and a little shorter guy like him, it's also a slightly lower seat height.
Okay,
he could do well. I think he could make the main. Like I said, I won't be surprised if he makes the main.
Wow. Well, our boy Max better step it up.
Yeah, I mean Max. I expect Max should be able to make the main too. Honestly, I mean I think he's going to be top 20. Yeah, it's possible. He was 13th this past weekend at. The U.S. Enduro event. I mean, you throw in a few extra guys this year, or a TKO.
Well, you've got that, and then none of the A's were in that pro overall. So, like Makana, I see him getting into the final. It's going to be
last year. Very cool. Last year, we actually had 3 riders, 3 A riders, all made the top 20 and made the mains last year.
Yeah,
that's wild.
Nico Piazza was one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was Maverick make it? I don't remember.
I think Maverick was one of the 3. Yeah. There was 3 guys that made it. Yeah. Corin
may have. Yeah. Because him and Nico were the top 2 A guys last year.
Yeah. So those were 2 for sure. And there was a third rider as well that all made it. So yeah, might have been Maverick was the other one, I believe. But yeah, it's cool.
Well, I think that's it. Unless you got anything, Will or Sean, you got anything? I mean, it's Red Bull Tennessee Knockout. I see IRC is the official tire of it. Any other big sponsors or any changes? USWE.
Yeah, a lot of the same companies that have helped us for quite a while. I mean, MotorX has been a big supporter of TKO for the last few years, as well as the series, the whole US series, and they're involved with. USWE's really big at TKO. Like 60% of the riders actually on our survey were using USWE products. Suron's actually back again this year doing the demo ride thing. I don't think that they have anybody like officially doing like the pro class thing at all, but they are doing demo rides. Fox has been on. Zero's actually doing demo rides with their electric bikes. And like I said, Danny Lewis and some other guys racing them. AXP skid plates, RFN electric bikes. Decal Works, actually, I got a big shout out to them. They print those decals that we use for the number plates, and I'll tell you what, coordinating that, somebody at Decal Works has to manually type in every rider's name and number. For the people that have entered early, Will, you get number whatever, I guess you get your assigned number, but you don't get a cool name on yours. So if you didn't pre-own already, good reason to sign up early next time. Yeah. But yeah, those guys, Rugged Radios actually helped us out with radios. So and then Yozma and High Bike, which are some other Chinese bikes that are coming to do demo rides. So yeah, there's going to be like I said, the new Triumph badge version of the offset electric bikes for kids. There's going to be like 4 or 5 companies, I believe, doing the electric bike demo thing, which is if you haven't had a chance to ride one, it's super cool to get a chance to twist the throttle and see what they're like. Okay. The kids to get to ride one, there's some kid-sized bikes as well. So yeah.
Well, and
a lot of companies help make it happen.
Well, and also the gas powered guys. FMF's going to be there. The regional FMF rep Kyle's going to be there, and then Ben Lee, Monroe County Cycles. He's going to be there. He's going to be the official vendor.
Actually, another kind of cool one. They're actually doing a little vendor spot, like I mentioned. Triumphs actually has a little with Pandora's actually sells Triumphs and KTM's and all that stuff. They're going to be there representing some of the brands. But Yamaha, since they've been working with Cody, they came last year. They've actually been for about before they even started helping Cody. The Yamaha corporate office is in Atlanta area. Mm-hmm. Quite a few of their team has come to TKO for several years. And I can't remember his real name, but Ace, one of the Japanese guys who works apparently in product development, R&D, is signed up to race. So super cool, like a Yamaha employee, development guy coming to a race. I didn't even look to see what bike he's on.
All right, if you guys see a Japanese guy on a Yamaha, don't take him out. We need him. We need him to develop some Yamaha two-strokes.
Yep. So
that's really
kind of waiting to see. I mean, how about how well Cody rode last weekend though on back on the two-stroke? Man, he rode amazing.
He crushed
it. Was cool to see. Like I was actually pumped to see that because I don't know, gives good chance. I would love to see him, be challenging for a podium and maybe getting that 7th win this weekend. You never know.
Well, being competitive again, being up there, not being kind of handcuffed by a bike that can't do what he can do.
Yeah.
And the 4-stroke, it was holding him back for sure. And even the 2-stroke, but I don't know what they did to it, or maybe the Ohio was just a perfect combination, but he rode really well.
He rode amazing. I even saw on the recap video, even Tristan at one point, he goes, "Man, you're riding like amazing. What's going on?"
That's what Tristan told me. He goes, "I gave him a compliment and told him how good he was riding. I made it give him a little confidence." I was like, "I didn't matter. You still won, so whatever."
No, that's cool to see those guys though. Just, I don't know, pushing each other to the limit. That was a tough course. I think you mentioned the rain made it way tougher. Yep. I look forward to seeing, actually just beginning, right before we hopped on, I think you checked out the weather and you said there's high chances of rain leading into TKO weekend. I'd love it if we get some of that. Love it if we get some cooler weather while we're out working on the course too.
It's actually going to be really hot until Thursday, Sean. So y'all are going to get a Tennessee miserable heat, afternoon showers, and then it looks like rain moving in Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The high on Friday in Sequatchie 78. I'm like,
oh my God, we're gonna freeze.
What are we sweating our what's off for? So again, we're a week and a half out, so it'll change, I'm sure.
Yeah, actually, some of the locals there always tell me too that little crack there where TTC is located, like quite often it's raining down the road and it doesn't rain in there where TKO's happening.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, like I said, we have a lot of great companies. Dan, who owns the place, we got he's awesome host of the event and has a lot of good input. Actually, he's been around, motorsports his whole life. Larry, who runs the place, Catherine and Charlie, who originally helped us get the TKO going, were running TTC back in those days. Even though she's been retired for 3 or 4 years, she still shows up and helps. And her sister Linda's out there at the gate, cracking the whip on everybody, making sure they got wristbands. So yeah, really.
Catherine's cracking the whip, make sure you wear your helmets.
That was a
big one 2 years ago. Holy moly.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a huge group of people that come help out, just doing the course. Josh, of course, and the whole US Hard Enduro team. I mean, there's a lot of people behind the scenes that make this thing happen. And, I gotta say thanks to Eric for dragging me into doing this thing 16 years ago. We had worked together on Endurocross back then, and he asked me about coming and helping create this event, and we went and met Dan and Charlie at the time and rode around on trials bikes there at the TTC and kind of came up the format, the multi-rad format that we came up with was actually, it was like the 4 of us chatting and talking about ideas. And I know Eric did the interview he just did with Max, we still kind of feel like we want to see people racing and not dragging bikes. I mean, it's like, we want it to be hard, but not stupid hard. And it's, I don't know, I know some of the top guys did a few protests last year on some of the silliness that some of the, events we're putting them into. So like I said, we want to make it hard. And I mean, hopefully we get some of the rain and we can make stuff that's, doable for me.
Naturally hard, not.
Yeah, exactly. Naturally hard and not have to put something crazy in it. As you know, like it gets a little bit of water on some of that stuff, it turns into ice quick. So
yeah. Well, and I also know one of the local guys that helps out here at a couple places. He's down at TTC right now redoing some of the Enduro cross logs, and he posted a couple pictures. So I think they're getting things ready for you guys.
yeah, I'm looking forward to showing up there on Friday. So, but thanks you guys for the opportunity to chat about it. I know we kind of made this little tradition, and it's kind of for those people that want to really dig into the details and all that. This is the place to kind of get it. And I think some riders will appreciate getting some of that information. So thanks for the good questions and good history, Will.
All right. Well, Sean, man, thank you for the time. We'll see you here. I guess I'll be there next Thursday. Will said he'd be there Thursday or Friday. So we'll see you in about a week and a half.
All right. Hopefully you can still sign up, Will.
I'll get on there right now.
Okay. All right. Thanks, guys. See you, Sean.
See you guys.